So this lady right here bought an old prop potato from the Idaho Potato Commission back in 2019. She threw some furniture in there, she put it up on Airbnb, and she has made over $200,000 since she first got started. Then there's this couple who bought an old grain silo for just $1. They converted it into a yellow submarine and threw it on Airbnb, and since they have made around $70,000. And there's this carpenter Ricardo who bought this double-decker bus and converted it into a full-time Airbnb a couple years back. He has made $50,000 renting this thing out by the night. Along with these success stories, Airbnb has now saved a place on their website that offers travelers the option to stay in some of the wildest, weirdest, and coolest accommodations that exist on planet Earth. That's whether you're looking to stay in an undercover bunker in Roswell, New Mexico, if you want to stay in an old windmill in Greece, or if you want to stay in a UFO in Redbirth, United Kingdom. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the OMG section of Airbnb's webpage. Now, for anybody who hasn't heard of Airbnb before, it's basically just a platform that allows anybody out there in the world to rent out their house just like it was a hotel. If you own your house and you want to turn it into an Airbnb, you just list your house on the website, and then anybody in the world can book your house through the Airbnb platform if they're going to be in your neighborhood and need a place to stay. Guests can stay at your house for a couple of nights or a couple of weeks if they want, and usually they're going to pay you, the owner, at least a couple $100s per night, just like they would be if they were staying at a hotel. I was actually an Airbnb investor myself back in 2017. I owned 3 houses in Scottsdale that I rented out full-time on Airbnb, and I had a lot of success with it because I happened to live in a really popular tourist town. What I learned during that chapter of my investing journey is that Airbnb really does offer an awesome platform and an outlet for regular people like you or me to create a significant stream of income for ourselves. But if you're wondering how my Airbnb story ended, to be honest, when the pandemic hit in 2020, I just got completely freaked out. My calendars got completely cleared out, and so I sold all 3 of the houses and just put that money into other deals. Anyways, back to the subject of today's video, and that is the coolest section of Airbnb's website where they house all of these OMG properties. Now, if you've never booked a property on Airbnb before, check it out. Basically, you start at the top of the page here, selecting the dates that you're looking to travel, and then from here, they have all these different options depending on the type of property that you want to stay in. So you can look at desert properties, camping properties, houses with amazing pools, islands, beach properties, cabins in the woods. You get the point. The most wild section on the website is this one, and this is what they call the OMG properties. Within this section, you are going to find hundreds and hundreds of properties that when you look at them, honestly, you can't help but just say OMG. Airbnb has done a few press releases on this OMG properties section of their webpage, and basically what they say is that if you're a host and you're interested in qualifying to be on this page, then your listing needs to be unique, out of this world, it should maybe be a little crazy, and most importantly, the house itself needs to give the guest a really cool experience. Airbnb at this point has over 4 million different houses around the world hosted on their website available to book. And of course, most of these houses are just boring old cookie cutter homes sitting in regular boring neighborhoods. So the fact that they've created this section of their website that highlights some of the most unique and unusual places to stay is pretty cool. As a guest, it definitely makes it easier to pick out these unique listings so you're not having to filter through hundreds of other options that kind of all look the same. Anyways, I want to look at a couple of these properties with you guys that I picked out as my favorite. I still drilled it down to like 6 or 7 places in total. It was not an easy choice, so we'll run through the list pretty quick, but let's start with the Big Potato Hotel because that's probably the most iconic one on this list. I'm just gonna kind of flip through the photos here while I read some of the details and description to you guys. So first of all, this Potato Hotel is located in Boise, Idaho. You've got no chance of staying here for the next couple of months. It's almost completely booked out, but if you do want to book it out a few months ahead, it's running at about $200 a night or so, and they say that it will sleep just a couple people. There's only 1 bed in there. The way they describe the house is that it's a 6-ton potato that was recycled from the Idaho Potato Commission's Big Idaho Potato Tour. This thing has traveled on the back of a semi to 48 states for the past 7 years, but now it is resting on 400 acres of Idaho farmland just south of downtown Boise. The lady set it up so it can charge your electronic devices, it's got a mini fridge in there, and there's an old record player. And they also customized a silo, which they're calling a little spa retreat. Basically, it's the bathroom with a bathtub in it. Okay, next up we have this listing called the Area 51 Futuro House. This one is in New Zealand. Doesn't look like it from the outside, but this place will actually sleep about 10 guests. If you want to book a night to stay here, it's gonna run you about $300 depending on what time of year you go. The listing describes this thing as built in 1974. I guess it's only one of 50 built in the entire world, and it was fully restored to now be an Airbnb accommodation. They filled the inside of the spaceship with rare furniture, so that's cool, and it actually has a pool, a spa, a sauna, and an outdoor shower here. The only issue with this property is it seems like it's kind of in a random remote location, so it wouldn't be the most ideal place to stay unless you just happen to be in the area. Next up, we have a listing called the Moon Conquer. This is a unique riverside tree pod with fire. So this place is described as a tree house. It'll accommodate up to 2 guests. It's a 1-bedroom, 1 bath. I guess the highlight of this property is what's called moon bathing. So they've got a couple of bathtubs that you can fill up with either hot or cold water, and these are filled up by hand pump with water from a nearby stream. But since this thing is in a pretty remote location, kind of just like the last one, when you're looking through those portholes at nighttime, I guess you've got a really good view of the stars. Up next, we have one that they are calling the Cowshed. This one's nicknamed Daisy at Easton Farm Park. According to some of the photos, it looks like there's actually a couple different cow sheds that you can stay in here. This one actually only runs $100 per night, and it is way booked out for the next couple of months. They're describing this one as a mix between camping, glamping, and a caravan. And I guess since this cluster of sheds are located within the grounds of what's called Easton Farm Park in the UK, that you have access to the park and the bathrooms and stuff like that if you choose to stay here. Okay, this next one is probably the scariest on the list. I don't know how many of you guys would be interested in staying in a place like this. I think I would do it, but they're calling this one the Sky Lodge Adventure Suites. So this is just a single private room that apparently only accommodates 1 single guest. They charge $430 per night to stay here. There is a ton of availability on the calendar, so I don't think they're getting all that many bookings, but this one's located in Peru. The way they describe this listing is it's a transparent luxury capsule that hangs from the top of a mountain in the Valley of Peru. The issue with this one though is it requires a pretty serious hike. It's a climb of 400 meters, they say, so it's not gonna be easy to get up there, but to get down when you're all done, it looks like they've got a zip line, so that's kind of fun. If you sleep at this place, it includes breakfast and a gourmet dinner with wine. Okay, and one of the last ones here, we've got a yellow submarine. This is the one we were talking about at the start of the video. This place has been on Airbnb for years, so they have almost 500 reviews. It's hosted by someone named Keith and Jen, and it'll accommodate 4 guests. They say this place is actually really big inside. The submarine floats in a sea of green, suspended among redwood trees. And you guys can see from the photos, it's decorated definitely in like a vintage / steampunk kind of way. Very, very unusual inside, but super cool. I wouldn't mind staying here. All right, and last up on our list today, I just had to throw this one in because it was one of my favorite listings. It really popped out at me. It's not necessarily unique, but it is awesome. It's called the Mir House South, and it's located in Italy. It looks like a pretty big place, but it's actually also only got 1 bedroom, a lot like the others. This one will accommodate 4 guests, and they're only charging $232 a night for this place and tons of availability on the calendar, so if you want to stay here, seems like that's an option. My takeaway after diving into this section of Airbnb's webpage is, first, as far as being a guest is concerned, I definitely have to stay at some of these properties at some point in my lifetime. But also, while researching this video, I learned that Airbnb is really trying to promote more people to build unique homes to list on the platform. They actually have a $10 million OMG fund that they're running right now, which is basically a contest where Airbnb is going to give $100,000 to 100 lucky people who just submit cool and uniquely designed homes that they'd be willing to build and list on Airbnb. Just for the heck of it, I submitted a design to this contest of something that I thought would be fun to do with one of my flip properties. I highly doubt it'll get approved, but if it does, you guys know I'll be reporting back on it here on the channel. If you enjoyed the episode today, if you could hit that thumbs up button down below before you go, that really helps the channel out a lot. And remember to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I'm putting new videos just like this one out every week, but that's all I've got for you guys this time. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see ya.